Hi. Week 3, we're going to talk about delighting in gratitude. Now, delight is not a word we use every day. Now, for my grandma, that was a totally different story. Things were delightful to her. She delighted in us. She delighted in just every day. She delighted to sit and play her organ by the hours. And even when she was in the nursing home, if she wasn't in her room, we'd wander down the alley and find the chapel and usually see Grandma pushed up to the wheelchair playing the organ. It was her delight. So what does delight mean? Well, according to the Oxford Dictionary, delight as a verb means to please someone greatly. As a noun, it means something that one takes great pleasure in. Webster stretches it a bit. The power of affording pleasure and keen enjoyment. Now think about that. When you delight in gratitude, you have the power of affording pleasure to those that you are grateful for. Some of the synonyms give us a bigger picture even yet. Feast, joy, treat, glory, rejoice, or triumph. Any use of the word or sense of its meaning indicates that there's something in delighting that really is a good thing, not just for the delighter, but also for the delightee. Now, delighting is the power of affording pleasure. We love power, and we start loving power at a really young age. Go to any playground, and you're going to watch the dynamics of kids loving power, and it won't take you long to see that they just like power. Most of the time it's kids being kids and bossing everybody around, but there are some you can just watch and they excel at that. Now, I was kind of a middle child. I was the bottom fourth child of one family, and I was the oldest child of the second family. And so my parents, when they adopted my brother and then had the little bonus brother, I got to boss them around, and I grew up being bossed by the others. There's something different in delighting in power versus bossing people around. We have a power over our attitude when our heart delights in life and gratitude. We want to be the one who sits in the hammock and enjoys, delights in that sunny day. We want to delight in moments that just refresh the heart. We want to delight, especially for those working and achieving things. That often equates to them delighting in things. But delighting is an enriching experience in people and drawing them to not only know how to be delightful, but also to pass that blessing then on to other people. So if we take the definition literally, so to please someone greatly, we would change the way we go about our day. Psalm 37:4, delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the pleasures of your heart. Take great pleasures in pleasing someone greatly, and of that someone in Psalms is the Lord. Take great pleasure in pleasing God. Not just take pleasure, take great pleasure. So great adds a component that some of us shudder at. Great means added. Great means bigger. A gift for someone on their birthday, a great gift is more than just socks. A great room is a big room that all sorts of people can fit in. Delighting in God is to go over the great are you, Lord, and live great are you, Lord, chapter of your lives. So delighting is like taking a plain cake and turning it into a decorative masterpiece. Delighting adds dimension and makes a 3D moment out of what was originally black and white. Perhaps you can identify with falling in love. It's kind of like delighting in someone's pleasure. We remember the story Esther and how the king had access to the beautiful virgins, and they had a beauty regimen for months before they were brought to the king. But Esther 2:14, and she came into the king no more, except the king delighted her in her, and that she were called back by name. If one of the virgins didn't delight the king, didn't call him back. But Esther, something about Esther delighted him. He called her back in, and she was eventually made the queen. Remember when you saw that first person that kind of flipped the switch in your heart? Well, I remember very well. I was probably 11. I don't think we ever held hands. We probably never crossed that 6-inch line. But I was enamored by him. And obviously it wasn't by his looks, because I saw a picture of him a while ago, and whatever I delighted in, it wasn't the physique. That was 50 years ago or so, so I guess I should give the guy a little bit of grace. But there are some people who just delight us and give us great pleasure. And it's a good thing, and it's a natural thing for us to want to please others and to make them really feel good about being with us. So delighting in life also enhances our satisfaction in just things we do every day. I'm not sure I delight in cleaning. I put it off for several days now as I let other things come up. We don't delay things that delight us. We jump in with both feet, flop wildly because we delight in what we're doing. So delight in something or to make someone experience a deeper, more meaningful experience is how we're going to talk about delight. When our oldest was little, she loved the movie Cinderella. She loved all the Disney movies, but she loved the part where the wicked stepmother made Cinderella clean the floor. So we would play out the scene many times because it delighted Adley. Please, Mommy, make me scrub the floor like Cinderella. She took great delight and pleasure and amusement from being her favorite movie star. I'm not sure I always go about delighting in things to bring me or others more pleasure. I often do things because it's probably the right thing to do. But what if I truly made a difference and delighted in the experience? And what a difference would that make for the people whose hearts I touched? So delighting in things focuses on the purpose why we do what we do. Drudgery does the job. Delight illuminates the purpose. It's not the scrubbing floors, it's loving my house and making it a warm, clean, loving home. It's not taking food to the field, it's delighting in having a husband to feed and crops to get out of the field. Delighting at serving at church is more than just handing out bulletins and collecting the offering. It's making people feel that you're standing there simply not just to greet them, but to make them feel like you never want them to leave the presence of God. So how does delight mingle with gratitude? It changes the way we go about being thankful. There's a quote, "Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and generates a vision for tomorrow." We've all met people who have a sense of their past, and they bring people together in the now, and they look to the future, but they don't do it with delight or gratitude. It's a morbid twist of all the bad things that have happened and all the stuff they're dealing with, and woe is me because tomorrow will be worse. There is no delight, nor can they find any good in anything. Then you meet delightful people who are grateful with every step they take, every breath they breathe, and every word they speak. Often they've had far more challenges than the others, but they choose to delight in gratitude rather than mope in self-pity. Thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. Thankfulness may consist merely of words, but gratitude is shown in acts, and it's a quote by Henry Emile. So what is the difference? Delighting in life rather than delighting in circumstances? Gratitude blooms when watered with delight? Just think about that. Gratitude blooms when watered with delight. We can be thankful and we can in turn act and do things to demonstrate our thankfulness. But when we water our heart with delight, it explodes in beauty and falls all over other people. Delighting in gratitude can't help but touch people. Delighting, remember, is to please someone greatly. So do it. Let's combine gratitude, grateful, and put some people in a bowl and mix it up. Now, from week one, I talked about cornucopia. So I hope you do have one. And I hope it's a reminder to thank God and be grateful and act out your appreciation for God for all that He's done. I also hope you have sticky notes all over the house, the ho, 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 the H-O-E, H-O-E. And I hope people think you're absolutely nuts. Because the next challenge will convince them that you're a half bubble off plum and you're a French fry short of a Happy Meal or a brick shy of a full load. I want you to delight in 3 people. I want you to go back for a couple decades to a practice that was actually really successful in its day, note writing. You can write a note and put it in an envelope, and there's these little sticky things that you put on the envelope, and you put someone's address on it, and you give it to the postman, and they will deliver it to that person. And then that person will open it up and read the loving, kind, delightfully grateful things you said about them, and they'll probably cry. Why not an email? Because there's something about a note, a card, or a letter that takes us beyond communicating and delighting in other people's hearts. It's a kind of a simple step, but it's profoundly meaningful. So just 3 people. 3 is a Bible number that's used a lot. Be thankful I didn't say 10 or 7 because the Bible uses those numbers a lot too. It doesn't often refer to that number. It just conveys a sense of meaning and completeness. But choose 3 people who've made a difference in your life and delight their heart. Take gratitude and delight in it. Don't be thankful. Go out of your way to bring them great pleasure by your thankfulness. Now, think about what would bring them great pleasure, not simply what will bring pleasure to you. You could bring me a double latte with frothy stuff on top, full of caramel syrup. And I would look at you and I would say, would you like to drink your favorite coffee? I don't drink coffee or lattes or frattes or whatever you call them. It would not give me great pleasure. It may delight your taste buds, but I doubt I would get it to my lips. So to give me pleasure, that I would delight in you, you would have to know what delights my heart. Think about the people who want you to bring that great pleasure to. How can an action or the words delight their heart and they would feel your gratitude rather than say thank you for a totally useless gift or words and then wonder what they meant by them. So delighting in gratitude by loving others, do it in a way that they will feel you delight in their walk with God, you delight in their love for other people, and your awareness in what their friendship means to you and how thankful you are for their life. And be prepared for a few tears. When we are delighted in, it usually brings a great sense of gratitude in our hearts. So not only have you delighted in gratitude, but you've also cultivated that little seed to grow in another's life, and they will pass it on. Have a good week.